Hello and welcome. This is number 8 in the Being Authentic series. So there we are, number 8, and we've gone a long way. And I hope this has really inspired you into just shifting a little bit your perception, because at the end of the day, this is what I was told right from the beginning. There is nothing else to change but the way you imagine, the way you think, the way you create, the way you guess, the way you feel your world. Wow. Let's think of that for a minute. Breathe it in. So we've been talking about the emotions, and I said that I was going to present different levels. Level 1, these emotions are important for us as human beings. And just like circumstances is not what happens to us or the emotions that we go through that are bad, it's what we do with them. Emotions are signposts. They're here to help us, they're here to guide us, they're here to show us the way. Because guess what? When we're in alignment, when we're in truth, when we're being authentic, we feel good. The emotions are there to steer us in the direction of our goal, our mission, our purpose, on our process, in our experience of the now moment. When we're in line, we feel good. When we're out of alignment, out of line, out of truth, when we're not authentic, then come the negative emotions in their wonderful variety, from super tragic to just a little bit annoying. Who would you be if you opened up to all of the emotions? If you just let them in, if you just knew how to manage your emotions, if you knew how to recognize other people's emotion and knew what to do with that? Science tells us that we would be emotionally intelligent if we knew all of this. I prefer the word mature, emotionally mature. So emotionally mature means being able to acknowledge, become aware, manage one's own emotion and somebody else's, understanding that they do not dictate who we are, they do not define us unless we identify to them. But of course, the way we can learn is through the emotional intensity, because there is a charge, and we all know that we all have the emotions that we kind of perpetuate in our lives again and again and again and again. These core beliefs that play with our mind, that play with our life and get us stuck in places. So how do we deal with them? How do we find out? Well, most of us know where we are, more or less, not 100%, to put it this way. It's just taking time to inquire, taking time to going within. I already spoke about tapping. That's a very easy way of working on oneself. There's an app, the Tapping Solution app. I'm not paid by them. They don't know who I am anyway. And they have a number of free tapping sessions there. That's a great place to start. I will put some tapping session on my channel later on. Right now, what I have found as a shortcut for tapping, by the way, I do not tap myself. I hold the points. Being a kinesiologist, we work with the acupuncture points, some of the points. So we work with the meridians, and I find that holding them works just as well. So a nice way to relax and stimulate certain points of your body is to put one hand on your heart and the other one on your collarbone. If you look at the collarbone and you go a little bit 1 inch inside, I find that these 2 points are extremely powerful to just relax, to just breathe and repeat affirmation with a very specific feeling, because there go the emotions. If you think of a goal, of an affirmation with no emotion, you're not going to have the gas, the drive, the energy to fuel it into creation, to manifest it into creation. Everything we think is a potential in the infinite field of potentiality. It needs the fuel of our desire, the fuel of that energy which comes from the heart when it turns into fire, into passion, when we feel it so deeply. And you don't need to have a PhD to realize that when are we very, very good at doing this in this world? Well, we do it with the negative so much, so easily. We've all been programmed. We've all been brainwashed into this. We're so good at really thinking, feeling, being the negative circumstances. We feel them so easily. Talk about the fear after this COVID-19 and the wearing the masks and the polarized views of this world. It's fascinating, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, because that's the time we're in. We need to look at our polarity. Therefore, it's all happening in front of our eyes, and the more polarized we are, the more in imbalance we are. Feeling, but with awareness is the most important. The scientists say, or the neuroscientists say, that 95% of the information we receive cannot be processed by our brain. We are just bombarded with information, so we only get about 5% on a conscious level. Imagine what that means. It means that we live in a world where 95% of the information we are not able to decipher. Our brain doesn't have the computer power to process, but still is there. It can affect us on the subconscious level. And since we are part of the collective consciousness, we are very much affected by what goes on out in the world. Therefore, it again takes a lot of practice and conscious decision and mindfulness to operate in alignment, in truth, from a level of consciousness which goes beyond the appearance of reality. And this is really how we get into the level 2 of the emotions. I decided to write these 2 levels in my book because I knew that not everybody is open to this, but we've already covered quite a bit of the ground. Level 2 of the emotion is understanding that we are one. Where we go one, we go all. We're part of something bigger, much, much bigger. So let me read from chapter 9, level 2. How do our emotions serve us? Within you, the memories of your experiences as a human being, every single act of terror, act of violence, act of domination, act of separation, etc., are written in your cells as the lineage that you have inherited. And believe me, I have since then developed that understanding. It was just the beginning at the time. We are not our body. The body we are living in, the body which is our vessel at the moment, is a very particular body we chose because we wanted to inherit that specific ancestral lineage with all its beautiful traits and all its ugly traits. So therefore, if you believe that there's a soul in you, that soul is much, much more advanced than this body. And sometimes there's an incongruence between the two. You might find that your mind is ready for some things, but somehow there's something pulling you back. Sometimes it is the body which needs a little bit more time, because the body lives in this world and it's very, very dense. This is a dense experience of a polarized world. Our auric field is equally imprinted with what happens in the depth of the jungle on the other side of the world, and to each and every one of your fellow humans. Everything is written in your energetic field because you are one. This is the principle of entanglement. What happens to one happens to all of you energetically. Just breathing that in. It's beautiful. That is not something you can understand with your mind, let alone the lower part of the ego. To really take that in, you need to go and drop into the heart. Allow your brain to be a tool. Allow the ego to be a steering wheel, in a way, a tool, a servant. But make the heart the power of your being. When you're open to this awareness, it can be daunting, but it has a very particular purpose to heighten your perception, to serve you as your inner navigation system and learn from the energetic records of the collective, to allow you to embrace your blocks, feel them in a raw form, feel them in a raw form or shape until they have no more power over you, and you can release the attachment, the emotional reaction, the charge that you had or that was triggered in you, most of the time unconsciously, and mostly to create the world you live in collectively. Charge of the emotion, we create our world as we focus our attention, because remember, the big names in neuroscience all say the same thing: where our focus goes, energy flows. And it's not only in our body, it happens in the world as well. So as you become conscious, you can feel that you have a choice to keep the belief, memory, program, etc., or let it go, or let it be and grow. Remember that reality is subjective. That's if it feels okay with you, if it resonates with you. When you're in alignment with that, then you can shift into what exists behind the curtains of the human world and surrender all of it to the source. Let's emphasize the truth, which is excruciating for your lower ego. In the material world, what exists in everybody, every single soul, the evil and the good, the beautiful and the ugly, the rich and the poor, and on, all the polarities are in you too. So your lower ego, and this is what I've decided in the book to call the lower aspects of the ego. So I have differentiated between lower and higher ego. The lower ego being the ego stuck in survival, in separation, like I introduced in a podcast entitled Are Circumstances Random? So your lower ego might agree to disagree. For example, making you aware that you have never committed acts of violence. What are you talking about, Nadej? I mean, I've never committed any acts of violence. A lot of people would say, hey, if I look at the world and I see all of these horrible things happening, there's war, there's famine, there's torture, there's abuse on a massive scale, I've never done any of this. This is something which is automatic writing, which is on a level of channeling. And when they said that to me, I felt very, very moved, because it resonated as so, so true. And they said to me, haven't you committed any of this? Really, you haven't? Well, what do you call not loving yourself? What do you call not having faith in your abilities? What do you call blocking the flow of who you are? What do you call collapsing the wave function into limited beliefs? What do you call seeing in others what you're not seeing in yourself and blaming them for it? What do you call treating your body in a way of the modern world? Drinking too much of the bad stuff? Not drinking enough of the good stuff? Eating too much of the bad stuff? Not eating enough of the good stuff, not sleeping enough, not balancing the stress levels, not exercising enough or exercising too much. What do you call feeling so small that you want to be so big? We have so many narcissists around. What do you call dreaming and fantasizing about the other side of the polarity to feel better? What do you call blocking yourself from joy, love, peace, balance, and on and on? There's so much more. You see, at the lower levels of consciousness, the acts of terror, domination, violence, separation, etc. are perpetrated by others. I'm pausing on purpose. After these levels of consciousness, when you start evolving, you become aware of your own perpetrator until you transcend that too. It is equally violent, equally terrifying. As you know, you would not treat your beloved ones the way you treat yourself, especially when your mind lashes out for no reason, when it blames or feels emotions like guilt, shame, fear, doubt, never being good enough, when it lives within your limiting beliefs, this opens the door to the hell of your own making. It is a challenging stage whereby your lower ego will lure you into devilish conclusions and generalizations about yourself, others, and the world. But when you're open enough to take the leap of faith and step onto the journey of inner discovery, which takes you to the recesses of your mind, you will be shown the dark places of who you believe you are, or the darkness you believe you see in the world. Hopefully, it will trigger in you a questioning and ultimately a knowing that darkness doesn't exist as your ego mind conceives it. Science has proved that darkness is the absence of light. Remember that the journey is the process of revealing the truth and seeing what is real. So, as you deep dive into the traumas and dramas and fully feel them, fully explore them, fully become aware of the absence of light, and you bless them with truth and love, slowly but surely, you transcend them. What does that mean? You become aware that every negative belief, generalization, conclusion about who you are is in fact a subjective perception of reality, which holds very little truth. They are the creation from your own experience seen through your filters. So when you have the courage to allow the polarities to merge into unity, your vibration is more powerful than your body, your past, your future, or your limitations. You operate from a higher level of mind and you choose who you really want to be and embody it as an energetic hologram of yourself. You are beyond matter, time, and space. When all coalesce into one, you experience the awareness of being part of the universe and being both the particle and the wave, marvelously experiencing surrender of free will. You are the expansion of the universe or the contraction into matter. The choice is yours. Then, paradise, heaven can descend into your experience and be revealed through you. You know choice and awareness. You have tasted a higher level of consciousness. Bliss pervades the whole of who you are, and you are home. So what this is saying really is that once we have the emotional maturity, spiritual maturity to go beyond the world, we understand that the next step of evolution is to make sure that we evolve from within. And just like the pioneers who had a vision and who walked their path with that vision, driving them, fueling them with a desire and a passion to make it happen in the world. It didn't exist. You take all the big names, it didn't exist. Yet they knew it. They could feel it. It was manifest in their mind. It was manifest in their consciousness. We have to do the same. We have to let go of the world, let go of the traps of the outside world, the traps of the ego, the lower ego, and really focus on the qualities we want to nurture within ourselves and look at our emotions, look at our circumstances, but make sure we do not attach to them and we do not give them the fuel that they need to be perpetuated into creation, because that's what happens. Most of the time people will really get passionate about a cause, but if it's when that cause is anti-something, that what they don't realize is that they're actually giving power to the very thing they are against. So rather than being anti-something, rather than striving, fighting, trying to eradicate whatever it is, move and shift into a much more neutral place of nurturing, cultivating, allowing the emotions, the qualities, the world, the dreams, the goal you want to experience, and feel them. Feel them with all your heart. Feel the beautiful world you want to move into. Feel the body the healthy body you might want to manifest if you've got a disease or a condition in your body. Feel and love the beautiful partner you want to attract in your life. Enjoy and relish and love the abundance that you want to bring into your life. The nutritionists, a lot of them will say when it comes to diet, rather than try to cut out the bad stuff, bringing the good stuff. Well, that's what we need to do. And as a collective consciousness, we need to wake up. All of us, we have to wake up and realize that it's not going to come out from the outside world. It's not going to come out from somebody else. It's within. And since we are all one, what works for us works for the whole collective, for the whole world. We are moving into a new dimension, into a new world. But we need to be there, just like the pioneers did it before us. We need to walk in their steps and really imagine that world we want to be. Imagine the beautiful world we want to co-create with everybody else, our brothers and our sisters, with energy, free energy, with no disease, with equality, fairness, freedom. That's what the world is waiting for us to do. What are you waiting for? It starts within. Find it within. Find the freedom within. Find the fairness within. Find the abundance within. Find the beauty within. You are all of this and so much more. We have forgotten. We have forgotten that we are amazing people. We are spiritual beings having an experience, a human experience on this planet. And we have limited ourselves because we are creators. We can create worlds, and we are creating a new world. If you're still listening to me, you are definitely one of us. And I'm not saying that in order to divide the us against them. I'm just saying that we speak the same language, we share the same vibration, and we are a little bit ahead of our brothers and sisters who are just not awakened yet, who haven't realized the truth. But it's coming. It is coming. So on these beautiful, hopeful notes, I'm going to leave you for now. We'll carry on with the last podcast on the final emotional number 9, being authentic. Be authentic. Know who you are. Go beyond your limitations. Go beyond the world. Go beyond your emotions. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You are not your circumstances. You are so much more than this. I'm sending you vibrational hugs, lots of love and light. Namaste.